What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Maury's Music and another edition of Guitar Store Virtual Tour, episode 159 this time. I want to say hi to Pete, Jim, Phil, Roslyn's here. Howdy from a very cold, dark, dreary Vermont, raining 50 degrees. It's probably in the 60s here with a lot of clouds, a lot of smoke. Phil says upper 90s in Nebraska. That's a little bit warmer than here. 60s and smoky in Connecticut. Yeah, that's smoke. Whew. Pete says short scale OM18 in the second half. I think I know what he means. That's a very clever way of asking for a triple 018 if you ask me. Jim says my online guitar instructor has a new custom Martin. Looks like it's based on a CEO 7, 14 fret body, spruce, hog, slotted torch, headstock 28 style. What would that be called? Well, 7 plus 14 plus 28. Is that a CEO 49? But it's a 14 fret body, so it's not really based on the CEO 7. Well, I guess it's loosely inspired by, but that sounds like a cool guitar. Good evening to Lee. Chris says greetings from the foot of Lookout Mountain. Look out, Chelerism's here. 87 and a bit smoky in Quesimo, Kansas City, Missouri. Is that how you say that? I got a good show for you guys. It's custom time. We have some really tried and true Martin guitars from the Standard Series, customized with either narrow nut widths like they used to do back how they used to be in the old days, and we also have some Adirondack tops, and we already have the first of 4 guitars picked out for the second segment. Please, we have some busy stuff going on upstairs, so if you could let us know what you want to see in the second segment sooner than later. We already have requests for 00018. BR283 is behind me. Give me 2 more. Do me a solid. Give me 2 more good ideas before 4:15, and we'll be off to the races, and I'll feel better. Then we might have a little bit of a hiccup at the middle of the show, but let's not get there. Let's start episode 159 right now. I want to thank you guys for being here. Let's do it. Hello there, Rosanna from sunny Cornwall. David blew out his flip-flop looking for his lost shaker of salt. This is already a no night move zone. It's kind of a no Margaritaville zone too, but you didn't know that till I told you. CO7 is a 14 fret. I meant to say slope shoulder, but I'd have to scroll backwards and read the chat. If I mistook some of that information, it's only because I was trying to do math at the same time. What's up, David? 283 was going to be Phil's choice. Well, good for you. That doesn't help me, but good for you. Let's begin with, of course I'm kidding, the first guitar I want to show you. It's a 00018 Adirondack. So the only thing different about this Standard Series 00018 in my hands is the fact that the top and the braces are Adirondack spruce. This has a serial number that ends in 055, and as you can tell, we have a beautiful looking top and the classic mahogany look that you've all come to love. How's it going, David? It's going really well. I'm ready to play some guitars, and I'm thinking, with all this smoke, I've been thinking of a song all afternoon, and I was going to tell you what it is, but I thought maybe we'll see how well you guys think you know me. Which song do you think I'm thinking of? And remind me to tell you at the end of the show. I'm thinking of a song with smoke in the title, and if you could get into my brain, if you do, would you admit it? Would you admit if you and I are on the same wavelength? Would you tell anybody? Think of a song that I'm thinking about with the word smoke in it. And Chelerism, how about the Big Bad J28 Addy top? I don't know if that's here. I'll have to ask our producer Andrew to look. I don't think that's here. I'm sorry. I don't know. But first, 00018. I won't spend the whole show telling you yes or no, but I will say it's not Deep Purple. It's older than that. That's the only clue you're going to get. It's older than that. I will stop right now. The smoke gets in your eyes, Rosalind. I don't know if you'd be proud to know, but that's exactly what I've been singing in my head all day. How did you know? That's freaky. They asked me how I knew. You know me. You have that that side of the fence that knows me so well, and then that side of the fence that thinks On Top of Old Smoky is a song I would ever sing to myself. Oh, how they're different. What's up, America? David, Jim Bailey's here. Gee, we'll have to sell all my electrics for one of them. Well, I won't want you to do that. Don't do that. John wants to see the M36. All right, thank you for the recommendation. Thank you. Alright, that's a 0018 Custom Shop, Adirondack Top. We're off to a great start. This is Virtual Tour, all your Martin and Blueridge guitars, and we'd like to welcome you to the Custom Shop show. This is going to be 4 Custom Shop Martin guitars to start, and looks like we're at the part of the show we're going to start exchanging addresses. So be careful how much information you share. But I try to get up to Massachusetts as often as I can, so maybe I'll bump in to David. Next up, we're going to graduate to Rosewood. Yes, I said it. Here we have the next Custom Shop. This is a 0028, and this might not sound very different to you guys because the only difference I'm going to show you is that the fact that the nut is a little bit more narrow. This is the old 1 11/16 inch nut. Serial number that I'm playing ends in 278, but there is no audible difference on this instrument versus the current 0028 in the standard series. So we have a narrow nut width and the narrow string spacing that follows it all the way from the nut to the 12th fret and the saddle. Everything else about this instrument is exactly the same as a traditional garden variety 0028. Take a look at this beauty. Another spruce guitar, this time rosewood back and sides. Short scale. What's up, Anthony C. Phillips? Play a little bit of a 0028, and I'll dip into the, speaking of Massachusetts, I'll dip into some James Taylor. All right, well, you almost never see Superman and Clark Kent in the same place, but Tone Guy and Anthony C. Phillips are both in the chat. I'm confused. What gives? BC's from North Carolina, where James Taylor and Doc Watson. Oh, look at that. What's up, Mark Henry? Jim is here. There's a pretty big Jim contingent here at Virtual Tour. All right, what do you guys think? Really nice 0028 if you ask me. And if you're like some people who wish they never would have made the switch to 1 3/4, this guitar is for you. I have to ask Rosalind before I forget and before it flies off my screen. Is there truth to that George Harrison got the idea for something from the first line of Something in the Way She Moves? I can never tell if you guys are kidding. That would be a really cool piece of trivia if you'd let me know. Did George Harrison get the idea from JT? And Phil wants to know if they're the same guy. Same guy as far as Superman or Tone Guy? And while we're at it, how many people in the chat think Tone Guy is Superman? John would never say Rosewood sounds great too. In court. That's a good way to say that. Well, this is another guitar you can't talk about in court. This next guitar is a D28. Here, this time we have another narrow nut. 286 is the ending serial number, and just like the preceding guitar, this D28 shouldn't sound much different, or different at all, from the current crop of D28s. The only thing different about this custom shop D28 is the narrow nut width and the narrow string spacing that follows suit. Again, if you like the D28, if you like the feel of the pre-2017 D28, but you do appreciate the forward shifted scallop bracing, or I should say forward shifted bracing, non-scalloped, this guitar borrows the nut width from the previous guitar, but keeps the forward shifted bracing of the reimagined D28. So, take a good look at this one if that's your cup of tea. Shazam! So, America First, Bob has a great question. What do I think is the main difference between the two nuts, playability-wise? It's a little bit of a cliche, but I will go on record to say most people would agree the wider nut's better for fingerstyle, and the narrow nut is better for strumming, not only in the feel down by the first position, but the cross-picking and what you do, the real estate you have between strings. When a narrow nut remains narrow all the way here, it's maybe better for cross-picking and strumming, and when it's wide and remains wide, it's better for more room between there for fingerstyle. That said, as soon as you tell anybody that news, you might find somebody who thinks exactly the opposite. So it still becomes personal preference, but that's kind of the hardly a hard and fast rule, but it's the rule of thumb. So rule of thumb pick. So that's what I've been told. That's kind of what I think. I know what you're saying. What does it sound like? Well, I will play it. D28 Custom Shop. Alright, some of my favorite stuff, Paul Simon. Jim wants to know about the BR163CE in the second half. We just shipped one of those yesterday. I don't know if we have any more left, but if we do, I'll make sure that gets in the conversation. Thank you very much for asking. It's almost 20 after 4. Just in case that one's not there, we need a few more ideas. I want to make sure we find at least 3. And I know we have more than 3 requests, but let us know if you had your way. What would you like to see in the second segment of Guitar Store Virtual Tour, episode 159? Hey, that guy's finger picking on a dread. Well, on a narrow nut dread yet. Got a request for not a D42 in the second segment. We can honor that. I'm sure that's probably something easy to do. We don't want to lay on the peer pressure too far, but that's the Custom Shop D28. Please let us know, obviously, if you have any questions about these or any great Martin or Blueridge guitars in today's show or not. And I don't like to keep asking for favors, but if you could consider hitting that like button if you're liking this. Don't even think about hitting the like button if you're not liking it, but if you're liking it, give it a hit. Do not, under any circumstances, as our good friend Pete will tell you, don't go near that subscribe button.
See this button? Don't touch it, you fool!
You fool. Alright, here we go. Next up, it's the last of the Martin Customs of the first segment of episode 159. D18, serial number 053. This guitar, is upgraded with an Adirondack top. So if you're watching carefully, you've recognized some of these guitars have Adirondack tops. Some of them have narrow nut. None of them have the combination. We have not ordered any narrow nut Adirondacks in either style. So pay attention. You kind of have to make up your mind. Do you want the wide nut with the Adirondack, or do you want the narrow nut? We just haven't seen a lot of market share wanting the combination of both. But if we're wrong, you can always let us know, and Andrew will design the perfect custom just for you. Phil touched that button months ago. Not touched it since. BR140 is another great choice. Now I think we have enough. Kind of sure of all the things you've asked for, we can probably find something good. Let's take a good long listen to this beautiful Adirondack topped custom shop D18. And after this, Lee's going to delete all of his finger picking D42s. I think that's probably smart. Kind of sort of BC CSN. That one didn't have the Y. Alright guys, that's good chat. I like what you're saying. Let's go see if we can't wrangle up 3 really great guitars for the second segment. You are at the middle of episode 159 of Guitar Store Virtual Tour. I'm going to leave you guys alone for a few minutes, but not without some great music. Please enjoy and ingest this great Spoon Phillips music. I'll be right back with 3 great guitars plus the BR 283 that's already here. It's episode 159, and it continues right after this. Okay, we're back, and Lee's always in trouble. Martin's and More with Spoon Phillips is the most fun podcast I've ever done, and I've done 2 of them. I've done another one called Mystery Guitar, but I have so much more fun with Spoon Phillips. If you haven't seen last Monday's show, go check it out on demand. Mondays on YouTube and all the popular podcast platforms. We have a very fun Season 3 getting ready. We have probably 2 more episodes you haven't seen yet, and we're always thinking of more. Please consider dropping us an email sometime at support@maurysmusic.com for a good show idea if you have one. John Washburn, we're listening to you. Your show idea is coming next week, and it could happen to you too. So please let us know what you want to hear about, and we'll blah, blah, blah about it as soon as we can. It's Martin's and More, and it's so much fun. And I want to know more about these backpacker, this backpacker chat that I'm missing. Is there a B45 that I don't know about? Please let me know if somebody out there has commissioned the custom shop, or at least the talents of somebody from Photoshop. I want to see the B45 before you guys do. Beep, that would be cool though. Just like this much of the D45, just the inlay is worth more than a few backpackers put together, but that doesn't matter. Backpacker's good. I can't wait to see Lee get in trouble in person this August. That's all I'm saying. Who asked for the Blueridge BR283? That was earlier today, and I can't be expected to remember that. But this is for you. This was this might have been yesterday even on the Facebook or on the YouTube. I'm really glad you asked for it. This is a great, great guitar. Rosewood and beautiful Adirondack top on the 283. Bling, 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 says WB. Oh, this is for Phil. Thank you, Phil. Well, I think somebody asked for it yesterday, too, but maybe that was you yesterday, too. I don't know. Does it matter? It was somebody and Phil. Matters not. All that matters is we're going to hear it. Oh, and Jim did, too. Well, this is going to make a lot of people happy. 287 is the ending serial number. Let's check it out. And if you're just joining us, you're in the second half of episode 159 of Guitar Store Virtual Tour. My name is Maury Rich with Maury's Music. Please take a moment, introduce yourself if you would consider doing that. And please know that we're happy you're here, even if you don't say hi. What did I bring back from Nazareth on Monday? That's a secret. It wasn't a custom shop backpacker though. David, I would rather drive to Martin 5 times with an empty car than golf anymore. That overtone is that this guitar needs a little bit more relief than it has. My finger picking was making the D string oscillate a little much. This neck is a little bit too dead flat for my playing style. What's up, Dennis? Oh, you like that sound? That wasn't supposed to be there. That's not proper. Yeah, that neck is too flat. We have to introduce some relief. But Good ear. You guys got good ears. Right, BR283. This is not a V-neck. This is what I would call low profile, maybe a low C. And I saw the question, but it flew off my screen about the high performance taper. Is it worth it versus standard taper? That's really just nomenclature for, I'm holding a Blueridge when I say this, but that's a Martin thing. When you look at a Martin guitar with the high performance taper, that just means it starts as a 1 3/4 inch neck at the nut, but it tapers back to towards what a thin or narrow neck would feel like at the 12th fret. So it's just that it tapers back from fat to narrow as you climb up the neck. That's what the high performance taper is. When you have the absence of a high performance taper, and they'll call that standard taper, all that means is the neck starts fat and it stays fat, or it starts narrow and it stays narrow. So the high performance taper kind of gives you the feeling of extra real estate at the nut, but doesn't make you pay for it by extra wide string spacing at the saddle and the sound hole. So that's just what that means. Is it worth it? That's entirely a personal preference. Calling it high performance taper kind of makes it sound like it's an upgrade or extra performance, but it's really just a measurement. So I hope that helps. I hope this helps. Somebody asked for a short scale OM18, and we know what they really meant. The 00018. Now this guitar is going to look pretty similar to what you saw earlier today. This is a 00018 with the serial number ending in 354. And earlier today we took a look at a 00018 custom shop that had an Adirondack top. So now in the same show, very smart of you to ask, you're going to be able to compare a 00018 standard with the spruce top versus the 00018 custom shop with the Adirondack top. And that's the kind of thing you only see here at maurysmusic.com. I think. This is the only show you see. What else? Where else do you see a show like this? 00018. Hold on, Lee doesn't like pepperoni. Did I see that? What's up, Fog? Alright, I got some good news and bad news for Phil. Love the sound of the 0018, prefers scale length of an OM. Why doesn't Martin make an OM18? That's a great question, and we finally got the nerve to remedy that. We have an OM18 custom on order. Will be here early spring. So all these guitars I showed you in the first segment, we're proud to bring in some custom shop instruments that aren't just for other customers, but we think they're valuable and they're viable enough to actually stock on our shelves. We have the OM18 being reproduced, and it's on its way here. It's going to be a little while till we see it, but we think that's definitely a severe hole in the lineup. So we are bringing back the OM18, at least here at Maury's Music. And the only thing, really the only thing different about that from the traditional OM18 they used to make is going to be that the neck block is going to say custom shop. We haven't taken anything away from or added anything to the OM18 design. We're literally just bringing back, we just emailed Martin and said, make the OM18 again and give it to us, and they said okay. So it's going to be a little while till we can proudly say it's in stock, but it's coming. So something we do have in stock though, the BR163CE. These are very cool guitars. How do I know? Because we just sold one either last night or this morning. Check this guy out. What's the best in my estimate? Martin Blueridge between 1,000 and 2,000. Let me think about that before I answer flippantly, but I will say your money's going to go a lot further with Blueridge. You can get into something like a completely solid Blueridge with an Adirondack top at the $1,000 point, and if you take that money and double it and spend $2,000 with Martin, your choices aren't as big. And then it's the entire debate. A Blueridge isn't a Martin. Made in Nazareth isn't made in China. There's a lot that goes into that decision. I'd want to email you that answer, or at least take that conversation off air so I can answer it carefully and give it the time it deserves. But let me take a stab at it. The best, I would go somewhere pre-war series with Blueridge for the middle thousands. And if you want to spend two, I would probably look for a used Martin, a used standard series Martin, and that deserves a lot more time than I can give it right now. But it is a very good question, and I see where you're coming from. But I mean, this guitar here, the BR163 with a pickup, this is gonna probably come in, I mean, under budget if I can be put on the spot to think about the price range. But this guitar here, it's got the LR Bags pickup system. 019 is the ending serial number. And it's every rule we can think of when we say let's spend $1,000 to $2,000 in both of these brands. There's so much you can say that would be valid. If you guys, anybody else out there wants to take a stab at adding your 2 cents to that conversation, it's a great thing to discuss. In 00016 Street Master, that's... Really can't vote against that for sure. BR 163 CE. What's up, Harvey? How long you thinking? Will it have a high performance taper neck? Sorry, I'm not sure what question that's attached to. Please appreciate that. I lost my train of thought a little bit, but it's hard to play Blackbird and switch cameras and remember what you guys asked a minute ago. But I do want to answer that, so help me out. Alright, Dennis says, just a good song selection as a whole. That makes me think about tomorrow's show. Martin versus Martin, where Marshall and I trade songs. Maury and Marshall play their Martin guitars and some of your reasonable requests. And it happens tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Same kind of thing, but I'm going to play my guitars, not your guitars. And we're going to sing. So check that out tomorrow at 6 p.m. Next up, it's like a familiar family member that just won't get the hint and go back to where they live. The guitar has been on this program more often than me. But it's important today we play this because our friend John requested that, or I should say recommended, Maury's music to somebody who's looking for an M36. And all today's jokes aside, we're very, very appreciative of that. Anybody here watching this program, if you know somebody that would appreciate any of these guitars or this kind of programming, please consider sharing this with your friends. Even if half of you people take the time to share this program with one friend one time, It's how it starts. It's a big ripple. Just a big Grateful Dead ripple effect. And maybe somebody you know should be seeing this program and they're not seeing it yet. Do your duty, if you please, to say, hey, check that show out. It's good. They talk about whiskey sometimes, but not today. They talk about the weather, all kinds of good stuff. Anyway, this guitar serial number ends in 034. Raise your hand, put a cup in it, put a drink in the cup, and drink it. If you've seen this guitar before, M36, one of the, it's at the same time one of Martin's worst sellers and best kept secrets, and it's a Swiss Army knife of sorts. It's really, I guess underrated would be the best way to describe this. This guitar, it strums better than an OM, it finger picks better than a Dread, it's got binding on the neck, it still looks traditional but not cookie cutter. It's not every dreadnought that you always see. I think there's lots going for this, and it's a really neat instrument. You know, Phil has shared the videos and told friends, but can't force them to watch. Well, okay, I get it. No, believe me, I don't want anybody to be pushy. I just mean if you're at a party and you're talking guitars and you hear somebody in the distance say, you know, I wish there was a cool program on Wednesday afternoons about guitars, just that's where you really genuinely say, well, I know a guy. That's it. I feel funny even asking that much, so you know. And Lee, well, Lee, you could tell yourself to watch. Here we go, M36. Thanks for letting me ramble. Thank you, Bob. Alright guys, it's that time. Which one did you like the best? What was your favorite so far? I'm going to play a little more on the M36 before you have to decide, but did you fall in love with any of the custom shops in the first segment? Are you a fan of the 163 in the second segment, the cutaway? Maybe the 0018's doing it for you? Let us know in the comments and the chat. What did you like the bestest? And please consider coming back tomorrow night for our concert. Me and Marshall are going to tear it up good at 6 p.m. And I know he's going to put on a great show, because as soon as the show is over on Thursday, he's already working on the new stuff for next week. And I catch up to him in the middle of next week, but he's a good guy. He's a good back and forther, as I like to call him. But thank you very much for all your support on both programs. We're going to take it out with some Neil Young, maybe. How about that? Guys, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for everything.